Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Plague Inc. Evolved Custom Scenarios. Look at who still hasn't updated. It's almost like they're not supporting the game and updating the popular tab anymore. How freaking weird. Well, in the meantime, I did get a request, which I will add into the list. Plague of Insanity, I think it was. Let's give a look-see. There you are. 5 stars, haven't seen it before. Well, that's a good sign. Humanity has stumbled onto a dangerous pathogen the likes of which have never been seen before. The genetic material of a virus within a capsule made of infectious proteinaceous particles, that is, the invasive properties of a virus, and the deadly symptoms of a prion disease. When introduced into the body, the viral DNA is injected into host cells. These cells become factories for the virus, producing more of it. Yes, that is sort of how viruses work. Meanwhile, the capsule made of the infectious particle infects regular proteins of cells. Okay. Reaches the brain, causes anomalies, destroy the mind entirely. I control the disease. Can you break down the walls of logic and replace them with pillars of insanity? Your first scenario, and you got it to 5 stars. Not bad, Squidmaster 129, because Squidmaster 1 through 128 were taken. Not bad at all. Oh, great, it's a prion. Here's hoping it's really well balanced. 5 stars, I have high hopes, but I've been steered astray by the prion before. All right, let's just stick with what we got here. Metabolic jump, genetic mimic, aquacytic streamophile, and symptostasis all seem fine. Normal difficulty, AE Psychosis is the name. Welcome to Plague Inc. We will start in Saudi Arabia, as we often do when in doubt, and take a look at the transmissions. We have zoonosis, enables animals to be infected. Seems good? Grab it. That leads to insects, birds, rodents, livestock, and household pets. Fido is the one that got you killed. I'm just saying. Susceptible. And then lastly, fomites. Survive on the surfaces, good in the rich environments. That will be certainly useful eventually. Otherwise, it seems like this is all pretty standard. Let's see, rural and rural. So there's a lot of rural transmission. Neural susceptibility. The pathogen begins to affect neurons, giving it the ability to manipulate the entire nervous system. Certainly sounds pretty darn useful, but what does that lead into? I guess we'll find out when I have a DNA point. And we have cold, heat, drug resistance, nothing new there, and neural atrophy. Neural breakdown causes breakdown in concentration, complex tasks become harder. So just some cure resistance for cheap. Okay. Well, I can kind of work with that. I guess to start off, that we have to go for a lot of transmission options. I'm not too sure, but we'll get there. We'll freaking get there. You know, for some reason, I thought for sure that I had played this scenario before. Like, I saw the name, and instinctively I'm like, oh, I already did that. What are you talking about? Don't think so, though. I think I'm just wrong. Lots of urban, too. And poor. Let's go for the insects. No hot or arid transmission? That kind of makes me regret choosing Saudi Arabia. It would have been better to go for India or something like that instead, don't you think? Is it just me, or am I talking faster than usual? This feels a little bit weird. Let's go for the birds. It doesn't say that it's land transmission, but you never know. Yeah, I feel like for some reason I'm able to just sort of roll things off the tongue a little bit faster than I usually do. I don't know why. It's a little bit bizarre. Let's go for the fomites. Whoop. Because once we get onto the aircraft and head into Europe, I imagine that is going to be good. Kid saves clown from down in the sewer. Police can't believe it. Did I just see that correctly? But with a capital I? Ha 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 ha! How clever. Let's go for the household pets, because I like the idea of your poodle getting you killed. And you know what? Let's also pick up some neural susceptibility. So this unlocks a few different options by the looks of it. We have irritability. Patient becomes easy to annoy and less cooperative. Always a good sign. Headache. A slight pain behind both eyes. And in the frontal lobe area. Something. I don't know. Poor coordination. Pathogen begins to affect nerves outside of the brain. This leads to poor coordination, which presumably leads to infection? Maybe reduce cure progress. I don't know what it means when you say poor coordination, but it's only 1 point, so I'll pick it up. Abnormal gait. Your walking gait? Difficulty coordinating gets worse, leading to the infected stumbling around. It increases infectivity due to increased contact via bumping into others. That's pretty darn effective for the cost. I'll pick that up. Numbness. Nerve damage causes minor numb patches around the body. Loss of nerve control. Isolated limbs begin to move and jerk randomly due to severe nerve damage in the extremities. And it's also lethal. Lactic acid buildup. Lactic acid begins to accumulate in muscle tissue due to random contractions, which damages the tissue. So far, I will say, this is a pretty well-written scenario. I dig it. Absolutely. I thought this was an insanity thing, though, and it seems to be mostly nerve damage, but I guess assuming that, you know, all the nerves and the electrical signals in your brain through your nervous system, you know, being connected, then sure, it might be related. Let's go for irritability. Mood swings. I'm familiar with those. Wait, no, I'm not. Subject becomes prone to quick mood changes. can cause bursts of anger, which can be fatal at times, yet somehow does not seem lethal at all. Migraines, persistent throbbing pain on one side of the head, can be severe and can lead to other physical side effects. We'll pick that up as well. Good thing with symptostasis is these are incredibly cheap. I almost wonder if there needs to be a slight rebalance there, but I guess we'll find out later. Blurred vision, brain hemorrhage, which can be very lethal, and dysarthria. Dysarthria? I actually don't know how to pronounce that. I've never seen it before. Difficulty controlling muscles associated with speech creates instability to communicate effectively. Somewhat noticeable when people can't seem to talk for some reason, like I apparently can't, when pronouncing dysarthria. I think I got it that time. Roughly, maybe. Eurozone is near collapse. Oh no, too real, man, too real. Should we go for more fomite? Fomites are good. Further increases, further increases, further increases. That's all it does. Thing is, I like stacking up lots of different kinds of bonuses, transmission bonuses, land transmission, rural transmission, you know, those sort of things. Anything that's just like, hey, it just increases transmission, but doesn't give any further bonuses is always a slightly lower priority for me, every single time. Let's go for a level of cold resistance, as well as the extra fomites, now some drug resistance to make it even easier. Though with 2 levels of fomites, I have to imagine that I don't need a lot of extra help in the rich countries. So really it comes down to more cold transmission, or resistance, I guess. And that'll be fine. Alright, so we could go down the numbness route, or the lactic acid buildup. I'll pick that up. Muscle death, which apparently is not lethal, though I feel like it kind of ought to be. Random contractions use large amounts of energy, which causes lactic acid buildup within muscles. Can cause the death of muscles, which significantly affects cure study. Sounds pretty good. But I'll pick up the mood swings. Mania. Outbursts of irrational happiness and joy due to an imbalance of dopamine and serotonin causes increased contact with others, leading to the spread of disease. Perfect. I like that. I want more insanity in this plague of insanity, guys. More freaking insanity, please. Loss of inhibition. Ooh, one of my worst nightmares right there. Excess of dopamine causes a loss of normal social understanding, resulting in aggressive, primitive reactions. Aggressive? I guess it could be in certain circumstances. Other times, I think it just gives you the munchies. Or something, I don't know. Depression. Extreme bouts of sadness cause lack of personal hygiene, which can propagate the infection. And then lastly, complete psychosis. The utter breakdown of mind causes subject to become in a state of near-permanent psychosis. Can be lethal, increases mutation chance, and is difficult to cure. Wow, that sounds like the full package right there. Let's give myself a little bit of time to get around to places like Greenland and stuff, but I'm on board with that. Oh, the muscles are dying. Well, fortunately, it's not actually lethal, so that's okay. Seizures. Rapid destabilization of nerves around the body leads to dangerous and uncontrollable convulsions. Whoa! The convulsions just convolted their way all the way across Africa. That was effective as frickin' heck. Okay, so we're doing pretty good in most places, actually. We're just missing Greenland, Scandinavia, and a few bits of other places. Whatever. Let's go for... I don't really know. Let's go for livestock, and... none of that seems that great. Let's go for numbness. Let's go for blurred vision. Let's go for dysarthria. Let's go for total aphasia. Pathogen destroys Wernicke's and Broca's area of the brain. I don't know how you actually pronounce that. I'm actually not too familiar with basic neurology, so probably I should know that. Rendering speech impossible, significantly close the cure research. I guess I'll pick it up. But people are going to start working on that cure pretty aggressively going forward. Still, we seem to be getting around, no problem. Look how much DNA I'm rucking in, too. This is good. So much severity means lots of extra DNA. I love it. Could slow down the cure by complex tasks, but instead, you know what, I will go for an extra level of drug resistance so we can get around faster in places like Canada. Oh, Canada, you have to die, I will. Let's go for the depression. That leads to suicidal tendencies. Probably would have been better to start with self-harm or something like that. That seems to be a more natural progression, if you were to ask me, though still... horrifying, absolutely. Paralysis? Yeah, reduces infectivity, but slows down the cure research. We're getting to the point where I'm going to have a lot of lethality pretty much no matter what I do. Literally no matter what I do. Let's go for the complex tasks and slow this stuff down a little bit, just to slow down the cure. Please get a boat into the Philippines. Thank you. Now can we please go into Greenland? Russia, I'm counting on you right now. Send a boat. Send a boat to the Greenland. It is the only country I am... You failed me. Apparently, we ramped up the severity a little too quickly on this one, which is unusual for a Prion, and I'm going to have to start over. Gosh darn it. All right, that's fine. Porg's not cool, says Ewok. Did they just add that into the base game? Because that's not the first time I've seen that. So, then, the endemic creators of Plague Inc. You are paying attention to your game and updating your news tracker, but you're not updating your popular tab. You want to explain yourself a little bit there, or no? Okay, now we're in every country. That's easy enough. Acute encephalitis and seizures and complete psychosis leads to total nervous failure. Catastrophic death of brain and nervous tissue causes complete shutdown of the central peripheral nervous system, resulting in death. That sounds all well and good. The problem is, I do need to be sort of careful that I don't increase my lethality to the point where I can't infect Greenland anymore, so we'll have to be a little bit more careful there. Blurred vision, blindness, that all sounds pretty good. Schizophrenia, subject enters a permanent state of various hallucinations, can be fatal, difficult to cure, increases mutation chance. All this seems all well and good, but mostly I just need to max out my infectivity so I can easily beat down Greenland. That is going to be the idea. All in all, though, as far as the balance of the scenario, it's actually pretty darn good. Now, yeah, symptostasis is quite powerful, but there are also a lot of symptoms to go through. There's a total nervous failure. All right, well, let's hope I don't kill too quickly. It is a Prion, after all. It does take a little time for it to ramp up. We'll find out. But anyway, yeah, it's actually not half bad, and it's really well organized, too. Well-written, well-organized. Like, what's not to like about the scenario? It makes a lot of sense. It's just a good scenario, straight up. Let's go for the Suicidal Tendencies. That unlocks the Permanent Personality Disorder, which we just mutated for free. Various personality disorders develop from antisocial PD to OCD. Extremely unpredictable, difficult to cure, blah, blah, blah. Which makes things pretty darn easy as far as I am concerned. So we should start seeing the lethality ramp up very rapidly. Thank you, Prion. I will go for total aphasia or something. I don't know. Let's also pick up the loss of inhibition or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's a great scenario. It's just well written. Like, it's not like it's comedic or anything. There's not a lot of commentary to add. It's just a well-written, proper Plague Inc. scenario, and I can freaking appreciate that. I've been doing this long enough to recognize when one has been crafted incredibly well, and for a first-timer, a first-time offer, this is, like, really well done. I'm actually very impressed. This is a person who really took some time to craft this scenario, right? This isn't just something they wrote for the heck of it. It's not like a little hobby. Somebody crafted this. And that is awesome, in my personal opinion. All right, let's just wait for the last of these people to die out, find out what my score is. It is going to be 2 stars. That's not good enough. 45,000 points, 534 days. It's a little slow, but that's mostly because the Prion is always a little bit slow. Certainly not the author's fault. One thing I will say, unlike one of the previous scenarios I did last week, this is a scenario that had no problem giving you a lot of severity. And notice how much freaking DNA I started generating because of that increased severity. It gave me so much more gas to work with. Even though the scenario was like 534 days long, it didn't feel too long because I wasn't constantly running out of gas with nothing to do, sitting and twiddling my thumbs until I got DNA. So it makes the scenario feel better as well as progress a little bit faster, which I like. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. If so, then be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.